It's going.
All right. Hey, Professor Newton. It's John, Marie, and Alyssa, and here's our little app development, our discussion on Easy Street. So I developed this app or a prototype of this app last semester, and it comes a lot from my experience with trying to park at Loyola, which can be a bit hectic. But for the most part, it's a personal functional app. Doesn't really have too many social features at the moment, so Standage's work doesn't apply to it really directly. But as far as what it does, our boxes might block it a little bit, but it's fine. Here on this little screenshot of it, so you just put in whatever destination you want. It'll be that blue little pin right there. Works very similar to any GPS app you've seen. And you could see like a little parking garage down here in the blue box. And then on any street, it would be green, red, or yellow. Click on green, it'll say, hey, it's fine to park here. Say it's 4 in the afternoon. This is a towaway zone. It's 7 to 9, so you're good. The red would be somewhere you can't park, it's towaway, whatever. And then green would be, hey, this is about to become a no park zone, so I would recommend not parking there, something along those lines. And it would give you meter rates, hours, things along those lines. And how it really, could be important. Why does it matter? Could have a lot of like personal relevance to someone's like work schedule, daily life, whatever it may be, school, anything, free time. And it could fill a niche of that. I don't really know of that many parking apps. I know of like private leasing parking apps, but I think parking is something that a lot of us deal with, and anytime you could make that hassle a little better would definitely lend itself. And I think it could, like I said, like play a role in almost, especially a post-COVID life when things open up and become more in person.
So why is this app innovative? First of all, it's definitely practical and possible. So in Johnson's book that we read for class, he talked about evolution and innovation happening within the bounds of the adjacent possible, which basically means it happens within the realm of possibilities available at any given moment. Easy Street falls into this category because we already have smartphones and we use apps daily to make our lives easier. So it builds off of existing technology, but still makes progress towards a practical need. Easy Street also has a clear objective with the opportunity for expansion. So in the Simple Rules article we had read, we learned that creating a clear objective can induce action without limiting options. So Easy Street's objective of simplifying the parking process is relatively easy to put into practice, and it allows for further innovation to come from this basic idea. So the app has the potential to be expanded to include things like parking fees, nearby ATM locations, or information about handicap parking and valet services. It also affects the foundation of the industry. So in the What is Media Innovation chapter that we had read, we learned that innovation implies introducing something new into the socioeconomic system. Something new can still mean using existing knowledge or technology and then implementing it into new contexts like this. So currently, the parking industry is sort of based on drivers' level of desperation. So if there's a really busy block with multiple parking garages, let's say, one garage can charge more on peak days and expect people who have searched all the other full garages to pay that more expensive fee once they've exhausted all their other options. But Easy Street would allow drivers to search for parking before they leave for their destination and to compare rates at nearby garages. So with this potential capability to see the current status of open spots too, all of this additional information in the hands of the drivers would lead to less last-minute desperation and really affect that foundational parking industry.
So how and why will Easy Street spread? Because Easy Street will be easy to use and makes people's daily lives easier, the spread of the app will be simpler than most because it helps people's daily lives just become less complicated, and it's actually serving a purpose with people that are searching for parking. So this app will ultimately spread because of influence, and people who are the first users of the Easy Street app, the key stakeholders, can use their social media platforms to promote it to others in the demographic. This ties in with what Rogers says and how communication is a process in which Participants create and share information with one another in order to research a mutual understanding. This communication occurs through channels between sources. Once people understand the app and realize the benefit, they will share these positive experiences with peers, and the app popularity will continue to grow. Diffusion of this app will be a very social process. It will be important to find like-minded individuals whose lives will ultimately become easier and benefit from this app. And the app will spread through different channels and will be done effectively so people continue to use the app in the future. The network effect will help Easy Street to spread among people. In the case of products that stand alone, critical mass can be achieved when enough users talk about a product in a positive way. People see others using it in many settings, newspapers and TV, proclaim it to be a hit, and so on. And with the result that many non-users want to acquire it. In the case of communication technologies that link people together, the core value of the product is associated with how many people are already using it. So basically, Easy Street will become a hit and spread because people will be using it, then sharing their positive user experience on their social media account. So the channels Easy Street will spread in this situation will most likely be through social media. It will be important to recruit young people with large followings on social media platforms. This will help spread the word about the Easy Street app because social media users will post, talk, and spread their positive experience with the Easy Street app.
Just kind of a summary, Maria, we already discussed a few things in the past few slides, but obviously like it provides a very useful service in someone's life. That's definitely a reason why that could hit that critical mass of a very large user base. Along that same, like the other side of that coin, be removing a stressor from almost everyone's life. And I think a path that it could rise to the tipping point would be similar to Waze. Maria just talked about the diffusion of innovation and why it will become popular. It's going to need social media to spread because it's not an inherently social app. But like with something like Waze, people can report certain routes that are a little easier, whether there's traffic, you can report accidents and cops and things along those lines. You could have kind of a similar actions on Easy Street. People could report new streets or streets that, a new parking sign showed up yesterday that maybe is not in the app yet. And that could align with a bit of Standish's ideas of, people desiring to be social, whether that's, graffiti on the walls of Pompeii or the early mail networks of like ancient Rome. Again, the network theme coming together that Maria discussed there. At the tipping app, it's going to be very collaborative, as I just talked about, with self-report data and social media spread with influencers. And it could rise to meet this tipping point through the theory of Gladwell's word of mouth epidemic in his book, The Tipping Point, that we just kind of touched on the last module. And again, through the network effect, through social media, through these influencers, that's, I think, really where it could catch its spread and, blaze a fire across a user base.
Yeah, and just bouncing off of that, like John said, it solves a problem that people experience daily. So that really is what's going to let it become a permanent feature and build that sort of habitual use. And it's existing in an environment where we have so much access to information, and yet you have to do a lot of digging to find out maybe in advance how much parking fees might be. And you might not even be able to find that information until you get there. So like, for example, if a space is open, this app could technically have the opportunity to show vacancies in a parking garage or a parking lot or something like that. So that's a big change that would definitely affect people's daily lives. And it has the potential to be one of those apps where people wonder how we ever lived our life without it, because it'll save people time and money potentially.
Yeah, and the conclusion, like we said, it's similar to Waze, and Alyssa's great points right there, where you think about how we've never lived really without it. I've never heard of a parking app. I've never heard of someone, tell me about one. I've heard of some private leasing apps like Spot Hero, which is actually in the potential for this app to link with, which would, again, could be a reason why it hits a tipping point or hits a nice rise. But I think a big thing about this is that it, utilizing the same functions, the app lends itself to many different types of users, which is just a fantastic way to reach a ton of user bases and a ton of total number of users, excuse me. And that, say you're an elderly person where, walking over, a quarter mile from your parking spot to your place of interest isn't really, capable for you in your current state. This helps you could find a valet, could find handicap spots, whatever that may be. If you're on a first date and you're trying to impress your date, you're wheeling around, you're circling the block for 20 minutes in an urban hub, that's not going to look the best. It's going to offer something for you there. The student, the teacher that needs to go to a 4:30 class and the parking options at a university or a workplace isn't amazing. It lends itself there as well. So, tapping into a bunch of different networks, user bases is just, I think, a fantastic way for this to fill this novel niche across a very large network. And, hopefully we get a nice little bump as we progress out of a COVID dictated world. And especially if an app like this could, hitch its wagon in society when a lot of things aren't in person and commuting is down, then I think it would really hit a boost when life turns back to normal in the years to come. And I think we're good.